Hey, we made it to the first level. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this game. I am. I really am. It's fun. I think the pacing is great. I think that's probably atmosphere and pacing, but I want to talk specifically about pacing because I already made a video about the atmosphere. Um, but I love just how it takes its time to allow us to get immersed in the atmosphere, right? And then it hits us with what I'm going to call like a boss. But it's not really. I mean, I guess it's considered a boss in this kind of gameplay, right? Because we're not really fighting. Um, Now, back to the pacing, right? It's giving us time. It's giving us enough time to like process and learn to fear the thing that we saw, right? But also enough time for us to really sit in the suspense of like, are we going to see it again? Okay, sorry. I think the theme of today is pacing, right? So let's recap everything. The game starts off, and it doesn't give us any explanation, really. It just allows us to figure out the world at our own pace. It allows us to figure out the game mechanics, the world, with the little we know about our character, right? Which I don't even think I've gotten a good look at our character. Cool. Then it establishes some smaller enemies that can end the game for us, right? But not like too much of a problem. And then it gradually shows bigger and bigger threats, and then, but just enough where we might not be ready for what's to come. Get up there! um, Now, usually when people are talking about pacing, they'll talk about overall like the pacing of like the major plot events of the story. But I want to talk about pacing on like a micro level, because long story short, it's the same with why we're so scared of swimming in the ocean, right? The things in there are faster than us, and so it's utterly terrifying to see she can only move so quickly through all these shoes, but the thing is moving so quickly in comparison. My favorite thing that we learned today was the pacing, right? This game, I love its pacing, right? Whether a story or a game or a movie has excellent pacing, the different stories will want different kinds of pacing, right? So there's not necessarily one type that is better than the other. However, I do really admire the way that this story takes its time with things. It gives you just enough time to sort of like let's talk about the skills, right? The skill curve in this. It gives me just enough little experiences with like smaller enemies and things in order for me to feel decently confident in my ability to perform some tasks like running, jumping, climbing, right? And then it'll show you with a threat that requires you to run really quickly and then hide, and then run really quickly and then hide, right? In other types, in other moments in the game, it will present the threat to you, right? Tease you with it, let it hide, and then let you sit in that horror for a bit. And then it'll slowly reveal more and more aspects of that, right? We'll hear, remember those low rumblings that we heard before? We'll hear that. We'll see other victims of the threat first, right? And the reason why that's so cool is because then in the moment when you're finally forced to confront it, you feel more rewarded with that, you know? Because you've had time to like process it, you've had time to develop, to think of, to start fearing the thing, right? If we met the thing and immediately had to run and confront it and all that stuff, it gives us less time, you know? They get to get more juice out of the really cool character design, the really cool boss monster design, by allowing us to sit in that fear for a bit longer, you know? By delivering things to us slowly and methodically, right? And then, in the moments where it's like, boom, he hears us, run, then we have that release, this release of tension, right? And it's just an explosion of like, of just horror and terror and run, 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 right? Yeah, I really like that, you know? World-wise, even like the pacing and pacing of everything in this game is so fun, right? How fast she runs in relation to other things. Both the long-armed guy Billy Bob runs faster than her, and the little monster under the shoes runs faster than her, right? And we have to keep our wits up and keep up with the pace. So yeah.